I got a question for the creators, creator to creator. How do we get out of a creative rut? How do we get through this writer's block? Just do the work. Just do the thing. We know that's easier said than done. So in my experience, working with creators, collaborating with multi-platinum artists, seeing some of the biggest artists in the world work, this is my experience. I'm going to share it with you. I think it's important when we feel this rut, when our ideas are all of a sudden go stale, to take yourself out of your immediate world and immerse yourself into another world. Immerse yourself into an entirely new experience. I'm gonna share a little story. Now, when I was in college, I was complacent. I wasn't inspired. I was just kind of sitting back and just going through the motions. All of a sudden, I started working with an artist, and through that artist, I started working with Scooter Braun, who was based out of Atlanta. Scooter told us to come down to Atlanta, so I went from small town Pennsylvania to Atlanta, Georgia, working in the entertainment industry. And all of a sudden, I was around all of this forward movement. I was around these people that were talking differently, walking differently, people that were taking intangible ideas and making them real, putting them in action. And I was sort of like a fish that just left this little fish tank of these conditions, of these everyday motions, just swimming around my circle, and plopped into a whole entire new aquarium that I saw the possibilities. I saw the kelp, I saw the coral reef, I saw, all these different ways of swimming because all these other fish were doing it, all these other currents that I could just hop on. Now, the beauty of that is, maybe I don't want to do exactly everything I'm seeing, but I'm seeing the possibility. I'm seeing what's out there, and it's lighting up the circuitry in my brain. It's saying, oh, there's other ways of doing this. There's other ways of solving. There's other ways of approaching this thing that we call a career. Now, that was one of the most creative years of my life, and I continue to have a lot of exciting creative experiences, but that year, it was the first example of seeing people actually do the thing. Now, what I'm going to share with you is seeing forward motion, seeing that forward action is important for us because as humans, we are movement detecting machines. Think about going on a hike. When you're walking on a hike, you're sort of in tune to the next step because it's this new experience. It's this, I'm not going to step on that rock, jump over that twig. There's a puddle there. Like we're problem-solving machines. And if we're stuck in our own environment and we're complacent and we're just conditioned and we're going through the motions, the same conversations, the same interactions, we never have to solve new problems, and our brain doesn't turn on the way that it really can be. We're not being challenged with things the way that our brain can actually be pushed to figure out how to challenge. So that's why I think it's so important to take yourself out of your world and immerse yourself into another fish tank. Now, you're going to say, Tom, and this is very fair, I don't want to go to Atlanta, Georgia. I don't have the means to travel and move across the country. And listen, I'm with you. I'm in small town Pennsylvania right now, and I love it. I love being here. I love being around my family and my friends. I don't live in Atlanta. I don't live in LA anymore. I don't live in New York. But what we can do is we can do these little moments, right? Instead of getting the scuba gear, getting the whole snorkel, getting everything, and dropping ourselves into a whole different fish tank, we can put on the little goggles, and we can peer into fish tanks, right? We can do it whenever we want. So put on your fish tank goggles, and this is how we do it. These I call them let's call them Microbold moments. So these Microbold moments of immersing yourself into other people's worlds. Now, one, it can be conversations. Say that you own a gym and you want to get into creating content, making a YouTube channel. Have 10 conversations with different people that are content creators. Have 10 conversations. Immerse yourself into those worlds. You could call it a podcast, you could call it a phone call, and you can DM people nowadays. We can just reach out to anybody. Like, it sounds silly for me to even say that out loud. You can DM people. You can just DM anyone at your fingertips 15 years ago. Now you can. We can immerse ourselves into worlds in ways that it doesn't cost too much. It's scalable. So have 10 conversations with people and immerse yourselves into people's world. Don't want to have conversations? Go on 10 different people's YouTube channels. And this is what I love to do. This is a weird thing that I do. I pretend I'm someone. So like say that you're a filmmaker and you want to develop a YouTube channel like Peter McKinnon. Pretend you're Peter McKinnon for a week. And then go into the YouTube comment section and see the people asking him all these questions and immerse yourself into his world. Put on the hat. Hey, I'm Peter McKinnon. I'm going to answer these questions like I'm Peter McKinnon. And it'll give you the goggles into his world for 1 week. I've done this with brands. Sometimes I pretend that I work for them. Like, hire yourself for the brand. Why do we wait to make a video for a brand? Why do we wait to make a logo for a brand? You can make a video or a logo whenever you want. So if you put on the hat and say, hey, there's a startup that I really like, I'm inspired by them. Hire yourself for a month. Literally just pretend you're hired and wake up every day, put on your tie, put on whatever it is you want to put on, and pretend you go to work for them. And that's how you can do these micro bold moments, these micro moments of courage, of like just immersing yourself into someone's world, to see it the way they might see it, to think about it the way they might think about it, to operate the way they might operate it. I think it's a really powerful practice to take yourself out of this little conditioned fish tank swimming in a circle and plop yourself into other people's universe, right? And then what that does is, again, we're forward. Like, that's like walking into the woods, seeing this new experience, and your brain lights up with ideas, with fresh, fun, creative, new angles, right? New ways of seeing the stuff that was already in front of you. If you're a calligrapher and you're not feeling your ideas, or you're kind of hitting a stale moment where it's not exciting for you, go learn watercolor for 30 days. Then take what you learn from watercolor, immersing yourself into that fish tank, and then bring it back to your calligraphy practice. This is I don't know. This is something that I think about often. That whole moment, like I got lucky and figured that out. Like, being part of that other fish tank, I was able to take some of that experience and apply it to some of the day-to-day creative ideas. One thing that I want to mention too is another way to immerse yourself in other people's worlds that is right in front of us. So teachers, education, 20 years ago, a teacher was a teacher. They rarely did something else. So the person teaching business or marketing rarely actually had a business or was in marketing. But now, these creators in the creator economy, they're creating their own courses. So a Matt Diavella is taking his experience and he's giving it directly to you. He's an actual creator that's also teaching. You see it too with Moment. They're doing really special things. You see Colin and Samir do their course. They are creating on a week-to-week basis. They're making content that provides value for people, and they're saying, hey, here's how we do it. Here, you can see it. If you look at someone like Jenna Rainey, she's a calligrapher, and she does wedding design and she does watercolor. She says, hey, this is how I get brand deals. She actually does brand deals and gets her work licensed by brands. This is how I get into Target. She's saying, hey, I actually get my stuff into Target. This is how you do it. We're able to immerse ourselves into these creators' worlds, into their fish tank. It's accessible. It's at our fingertips. So what I would say is pick one fish tank the next month, put your goggles on, and dive in. Dive in, or just I don't know. I know that it works. I know that as a creator, it's a way to get excited about the work that's right in front of you. It seems commonplace for me to say that, like, oh, just go get the experience, but like actually commit to getting the experience in these micro bold moments, right? And reach out to people. People love sharing their insights. People love sharing what they see, what they've learned on a day-to-day basis. Pick 10 people in a category and just DM them. You might get 3 people to respond back. Do a Zoom call, do a phone call, and they'll be happy to share, I promise you. So comment below and please let me know what your micro bold moment is going to be, who you're going to reach out to, what universe, what fish tank you're going to immerse yourself in. Keep creating, put the camera on your face. Listen, you have a creative light. I mean, you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't, and I'm gonna continue to say that in every video. You have a creative light. Just find that thing, turn that thing on, keep that thing booming, and keep creating. I really appreciate you for watching. Here's a video right here. It's a slapper. You're gonna enjoy it. Have a wonderful day. All the things.